Hello everybody. In the last video we studied about the ozone depletion and how the greenhouse gases are storing up heat and is resulting in the rise of temperature of the earth, which is called as global warming. But why are we so worried about global warming? If it's happening, let it happen. But it has some negative impacts on the surface of the earth. We will face some problems because of this gradual increase of temperature on the surface of the earth. So let's study about what are the impacts. When the temperatures will rise, the first thing which will happen will be melting of ice. Now melting of ice doesn't mean the ice will melt in your refrigerators. Melting of ice means the glaciers present on top of the mountains will start melting, and if these glaciers start melting at a high rate, there will be lots and lots of water in the rivers. Now, we of course would love to have more waters in the rivers, but then they also have their own capacity. If these waters become more than the capacity of the rivers, flooding will happen, and these floods will cause a lot of devastation and destruction in all the areas where these rivers flow through. So that is one problem which we will face if the temperature keeps on rising. Now, if the rivers will have a lot of water, more water will be given to the seas and the oceans. And if more water is given to the seas and oceans, the level of the sea will start rising. And if the level of the sea will start rising, that means places which are present very close and at a lower level, that area will get flooded or probably get submerged under the surface of the sea. They will vanish. Certain islands will not be seen after a few years. Certain countries, low countries, will get submerged and they will go underwater, like the country of Netherlands, Bangladesh, our very own Andaman and Nicobar Islands, some islands in the Pacific Ocean. You will see that they vanish after a few years if the glaciers keep melting and the rivers keep discharging more and more water into the seas or to the oceans. Third, of course, when the temperatures will change, when the river patterns will change, river courses will change, when the rainfall situations will change, certain animals will start moving to different places. They will start migrating because they will not get the kind of environment they are used to living in. So they will start migrating to different places in search of better conditions. And certain other animals will not be able to adjust to these changes, to these new environments, and therefore they will start dying and they might become endangered or finally extinct. I hope you know the meaning of endangered and extinct by now. Endangered means certain animals whose number is reducing on the surface of the earth and there are very few left. And extinct means they were present, they were living a few years back or a few hundred years back, and now they are no longer found on the surface of the earth. So there's a danger that animals which are living today on the surface of the earth might not remain alive after a few years. Then certain kind of crops or plants will stop growing because the kind of conditions required for them will not be available because of the change of weather, and this might cause shortage of food. Now for example, when I was making this video in the evening on Sunday, I'll be posting it to you a little later. There was a lot of rainfall in the morning. Now this is the time when the wheat needs to be cut, and if wheat needs to be cut, it requires bright sunshine. But slowly and steadily, the weather pattern is changing and a lot of rainfall is happening in the past few days. That means the grain of the wheat will not grow longer and the taste of the wheat will not be sweet. So imagine slowly and slowly, if this weather pattern changes, will you find as much wheat growing in India as it was growing earlier? And if not, then won't there be shortage of food? Think about it. If all these are things which are happening because of global warming, do we need to check the increase of global warming? Do we need to reduce the global warming? And little things which you and me can do at our own home to stop the emission of certain gases, which is also a cause of global warming. So what all we can do? We can replace light bulbs with fluorescent bulbs because they consume 70% less energy. We can use energy efficient appliances. If you see these days, when you see advertisements of ACs and refrigerators, you find that they say that this appliance has 5-star electric saving energy. The government has given it 5-star. 5-star means it works on very less amount of electricity. So that is called as energy efficient appliances. And then use public transport or carpooling. This will reduce the amount of pollution your car or your vehicle is causing into the surface of the earth. Public schools use public buses and all that. Then try and use clean fuels like CNG, and of course follow the 3 R's principle: reduce, reuse and recycle. Now in this reduce, reuse and recycle, there is, if you see these days in social media, instead of 3 R's, now it is coming as 4 R's, and the fourth R they are saying is refuse. That means refuse the use of things which are causing a lot of harm to the environment. First and foremost, refuse the takeaway. Do not sit at home and order food, because it comes in a lot of packaging material which is plastic and does not decompose outside in the world. And then, of course, the best part is plant as many trees as possible. That is the only solution to all the problems of the earth at present. So, we'll talk about this in the Zoom meeting if you have any problems. This is what chapter number 3 is all about, that is greenhouse effect and global warming. It's over, and then I'll ask you what questions we can do during the Zoom session.